Hey, it's Mike from My Rocky Start. I'm sitting here at the Highland Park wet belt sander because I've been getting some questions on how I originally got the pulley off the old motor and how I got the new motor pulley installed. So I just wanted to cover that and also just do this without taking everything completely apart because I am in the middle of moving the shop around and trying to get some stuff organized. So it's a little bit of a mess here, but I just wanted to help you out. So on the original motor, there are two set screws, and let's take a look at those. There is a flat keyway. It's hard to see in the video, but there's a flat spot. On the flat spot of the shaft, there is a set screw, and you rotate that, and that's in the bigger pulley section. And there's another set screw about a quarter of a turn that goes just on the round part of the shaft. These are 5/32, and because you have to do this with the belt guard on first, the way I got that is with an extension, and I have a kind of a socket screwdriver that I can actually get a socket wrench in the end if I have to. And I put a 5/32 socket on this, and you can take this all the way from the front and loosen that set screw, the set screws that are in the V groove. And that made it a lot easier. You might be able to do it possibly if you have a long L-shaped wrench that you can get in there, but other than that, it was just easy and quick to do it from the front with those tools. So then when I got that off, the pulley's still kind of on there. You don't need a puller to pull that. It will come off. What I did, sorry about the video quality, I've only got one hand, is I had a pair of insulated channel locks, kind of a large pair. You can find something else, and with the guard completely off as far as the screws all taken out, I took the channel locks and put them down between the motor and the belt guard, and then basically just smacked that a couple of times, and that came right off. And that, I can't fit them down there with the DC motor in place, but if it's easier for you, you can just loosen everything up, pull the old motor and the belt guard off as one piece, set it on the floor, get something between there, and just tap that. I used these insulated pliers just so I could protect the finish on the belt guard. That may not be a concern for you. So then when you go to put that back together, you're going to get your motor on, leave everything loose, put your belt guard in place, and this is what I like for my CB8 light kit that I attached to the wet belt sander. Really comes in handy for a lot of stuff. Check out some of my other videos. But you can see that set screw. There's a set screw on the shaft behind that, the little part of the pulley that sticks out, that actually goes on that key. So when you slide that pulley on, I found that not seated completely on, it didn't make any noise rubbing the belt guard, because I did have that originally. So make sure you don't lose that key, because that key will come off when you pull the pulley off. It's not in there solid. It is held on basically by that set screw. And you have to do it this way because there is not a hole that you can pull that pulley completely through. It's not big enough. Not big enough on that backside. It's just a slot to be able to maneuver that on. So you do have to have the pulleys off. So slide that pulley back on, mount the motor first, slide the pulley back on with the belt guard in place but loose, and go ahead and tighten those set screws on that backside. And incidentally, that black dust is from the old belt, not from the new one. You can see it's basically in pristine condition. All right, we're here at the front of the wet belt sander. So to get the original motor set screws loosened, once again, I use that socket setup, and with the front cover off, I can take this all the way back there, and that's me tapping the bottom of that V groove. And once again, there's a set screw on that flat spot. Rotate 1/4 of a turn. You'll see the other one. Go in, loosen that. You don't have to take them completely out, but back them up quite a bit. And then you'll be able to take and pop that pulley off like I showed you with the vice grips or something else from behind there. So this brings us to where, how did I get the belt on? I had a lot of people say, take this side off, pull the polishing wheel off, but you have to disassemble everything. And just the easier way to do it is on this side. Now, I will tell you that Kent from the group did use a linked belt, and he was able to avoid doing what I'm going to show you now. But if you're already this far and you've already got a belt, it's not as bad as what you might think it'd be to get that put back together. So what you have to do is I would mark the bottom with a line, or even I did it with tape on the side, and come around that corner and do that to the top also. And what that's there for, excuse me, so you can get this pull bearing back in the same spot that you took it off of. And so you're going to pull these two bolts, and after you've done that, you're going to be able to take this wheel and grab it. Let me move my drip tray out. I have that to kind of come out a little bit so I don't drip on the floor and it just goes back in. But you're going to be able to grab this sanding side and pull it out and down. Once those bolts are out, there is enough play in this bearing to get that down and away. And with it that way, you can actually take the belt and fit the belt over the sanding wheel. And you've got it around the shaft, and then what you're going to do is you've got to get it behind the bearing. So I pull the top out, snake that belt behind the bearing, push the top back in, pull this bottom out away from the framework, get this slid under the belt and into this section. Now, when I did this, and I didn't have the belt on, but when I did this, it was a little tight right here to get that belt between this pulley and the frame. So I loosened the set screws and tapped the pulley over so that I could get this belt to drop down in between the framework and that pulley, so that I had that in there. The belt's snaked back towards that rear pulley. And then what I did is just eyeballed this, and I got the motor locked down. The belt guard was still off, but got the motor tightened down. I had that pulley back on. It has just that one set screw on that back flange that holds that key and everything. So there's only the one set screw to deal with on that one. But I had everything kind of buttoned up in back except for tightening the belt guard. And then I took a sight down that, and I tapped this pulley while it was still loose and got the sight the best I could. I actually had taken another longer extension that I had, and to make sure it was straight, I actually laid it in the groove of the back pulley here, the smaller pulley, and the pulley in back, and that's how I lined it up. And once I had that lined up, I tightened the set screws. I tightened the bolts back up, putting the bearing back as close as I could get it to where the marks I had made. And I just set the belt down in the groove, pushed it. Let me just show you, because oops, sorry, bumped the camera. But just pushed the belt back in there, and so I could put it around the pulley and back, adjust everything with the motor, with that set screw, or the Allen screw that's in the back, to slide the motor in and out, tighten the motor down. Once I had everything tightened down, I didn't tighten the belt guard yet, because what I wanted to do was rotate this and make sure that it wasn't scraping the belt guard, because I had to have the belt guard over just a little bit more than what it was when I took it off. And so I just basically did that, tightened everything enough so I could tap that belt guard into place, spun it up to full speed, nothing rubbing, and I just basically tightened everything down, put the front back together. Incidentally, if you've had your belt sander for a while, awesome time to give a couple little squirts of grease. And if you're having any trouble seeing, once again, CB8 light kit, cheap light. I've got them mounted on most of my machines now. It just goes everywhere. So hopefully that helps explain what I did. When you do get this running and you actually put a belt on, be ready to adjust the tracking, because that belt will jump around, because even as good as you may be, it's hard to get that exactly where it was before. So it's going to change the tracking just a little bit. Not much, but it will go over. I've got a couple marks in the belt guard to prove it. So hopefully that helps. If you have any questions, put them in the comments section. Like my video, subscribe. I'm going to try and do more. Hopefully this helps. And I appreciate you guys' time. Let me know what you think.